Hello everybody, Andy Herman here again to host Russell Tobin's 5-part series, Honing Your Digital Presence in a Remote World. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing digital tactics on keeping collaborative culture alive. For today's show, please join me in welcoming Andy Davies, who is Pride Global's Talent Engagement Manager for all of our offices around the United States. We hope you enjoy, and after you watch, please make sure to like, ask questions in the comments, and of course, share. On our last and final episode next week, I'll be hosting a live Q&A to go over any questions that our audience has. So look for the event in the comments, and we'll see you next week.
Hi there, I'm Andy Davies, and I am our Talent Engagement Manager here at Pride Global. I focus primarily on engaging with our internal population through training, learning and development, and cultural enhancements. So the crisis set us down a path we would have never anticipated in our careers. In a matter of days, the world turned upside down, and I, along with the rest of my colleagues, was faced with challenges in my job that I never anticipated. As an organization, and my role in particular, we needed to act to figure out what we could still control and how we were going to move forward. So we implemented a phone call challenge, and we basically tasked our entire organization to call people that you normally wouldn't call. And more specifically, we started tracking who our senior leadership were calling on a daily basis. So we had our 30 or so senior leaders across the organization tasked with calling as many people as they could in a day outside of their normal meetings as just a touch point, saying, hey, how are you doing? What are you up to? How's your day? How are you feeling? What can I help you with? Those simple questions just to, break apart somebody's day, from their normal meetings, let them know that someone's there, let them know someone's thinking about them, and, just continue to build that community and continue to break down those barriers of people just sitting by themselves in their homes. Building this sense of community was obviously crucial to maintaining engagement and really feeling like people were a part of something bigger than just their day-to-day job, which, could look totally different when we shifted to a remote office. So we wanted to maintain the communities that we had already built and just build upon them. So one community, for example, that really flourished during this time and provided such a backbone to parts of our organization was our women's affinity group, which we call our Lioness group. It proved to be just such a strong pillar during this time of uncertainty and a place for women to congregate, interact with each other, break down barriers, learn more about each other, and honestly spend time together. We spent so many hours just on Zoom happy hours doing fun polls and questions and things that might sound cheesy, but they really helped us all get to know each other and learn more about people in our other offices who are women, learn more about, their accomplishments, their struggles, what they were going through, and just provide an open community for people to really feel comfortable to voice any issues or concerns or anything that they were going through that day and know that they weren't alone. So we really felt that this affinity group was just an open room, and it was really just such a strong part of our organization throughout this time. So once we broke down some barriers of communication, opened them back up in a new way, we decided to start moving along with figuring out what our culture was going to look like in a remote environment. Our culture at Pride is one of my favorite things about working at the organization. It's not just a mission statement, it's truly our ecosystem. It's our community, it's who we are, and it's a part of our daily lives beyond just, perks in an office, which obviously weren't a thing anymore. So we've always placed such a strong emphasis on our culture. We actually promote individuals for their contributions to our culture, and we have a ceremony on a quarterly basis called Dojo Rising. And at this ceremony, we will actually promote people for their cultural contributions as it relates to our cultural values. And our cultural values are what we call Aikido, which stands for adaptability, integrity, knowledge, inclusion, drive, and outlook. So this exciting ceremony of Dojo Rising is something that's people look forward to on a quarterly basis. People work hard for their promotions. People, set out to really, move to the next level within our dojo system and advance within our program every quarter. So our first Dojo Rising ceremony was scheduled to be on April 6th. So it was a very weird time. We were about 2 to 3 weeks into working remotely, the crisis. We really didn't know what was going to happen. It was still very much this unknown time of our lives. And there was uncertainty if we should, host kind of this ceremony that's usually filled with costumes and breakfast and, balloons and big celebrations and people get certificates, and we weren't sure. But at the end of the day, we decided that we were going to move forward and we were going to host the ceremony virtually. And it ended up being one of our best ceremonies ever. I think people truly walked away feeling even stronger sense of community than we had beforehand. We created digital certificates, which we usually hand out in person, but we allowed people to post it on their LinkedIns, on their social medias. People were congratulating each other. People were really rallying behind each other, supporting each other, more so than ever before. So honestly, it was one of our best decisions to go forward with the ceremony. So while it looked different, celebrating our culture and rewarding people for stepping up, for being there, for moving forward in this crisis and, protecting our community was a really special moment for all of us. Some smaller nuggets of our culture that we, bring together that really kind of helped us get through day-to-day little things. One thing is called our win songs. So our win songs are basically, your walkout song in baseball, so to speak, your song that you want to play when you have a big accomplishment. So typically we play them in the office, blast the music. I'll send out an email and it'll have all of the accomplishments listed in them, and then we'll play the song in the office for everyone to hear, everyone to celebrate, everyone to cheer. So being remote, we wanted to figure out a new way to share the good news because everyone needed good news more than ever during this time period. So I was looking for any bits of good news that I could share, any bits of information that I could send out to the organization. And we actually started sending people's win songs out, as YouTube links to virtually congratulate everybody. And we encouraged everyone to click on the song, play it as your background music for those 3 to 4 minutes. And it just created these big email chains of people congratulating each other and just spreading some good news, which was something that we all truly needed throughout the day. Another thing that we did, we're big on planting seeds for the future. And during the crisis, we kind of needed this mentality of we're going to get through this and what are we going to look at on the other side? What are going to be some projects that we're going to work on? What are some initiatives that we can work on? What are some new business opportunities? So we wanted to kind of hone in on this mentality, and we created what's called Operation Lighthouse. The mission of Operation Lighthouse was twofold. We wanted people to come up with good ideas, plant seeds for the future, set that mentality up, and we also wanted people to get together, another touch point of communication. So we actually broke the entire organization up into different teams, and on a daily basis, they were tasked to huddle for 30 minutes to an hour and come up with an idea. Could be small, could be big, could be the beginning of an idea, could be a full thought out idea, could be something that impacted their business, somebody else's business, whatever it was. We wanted them to be forward thinking. And we did this for 3 weeks. So that meant people were, meeting 15 times total. And at the end of each week, during those 3 weeks, we got together as an entire company and went through all of the ideas. And we actually pinpointed, a dozen or so that we are in the process of rolling out or are going to be rolling out in the near future. So it was a very successful way of getting people's mindset back on the business and moving forward and forward thinking, while also forcing them to, have another touch point, another meeting on their calendar. Our culture really continues to hold us together during these times, and we wouldn't be the same without it. I don't think we would have come out as strong without those kind of established cultural aspects going into the crisis. So I'm so thankful for what has been built at Pride, what we continue to build, what we continue to change, and we strive to enhance our culture every single day and just consistently make it better for our employees.
We hope you've enjoyed this 4th episode of Honing Your Digital Presence in a Remote World. Please join us next week for our last and final episode, where I'll be hosting our final live Q&A to discuss any questions our audience has. We so look forward to seeing you there. We'll see you next week.